Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Manage CIA podcast. Today's episode is truly special because we are talking about innovation brewed from waste. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Thank you for asking, Ishika. I'm doing great. It's a pleasure to have a conversation with you, and you are covering Kaffa Kuwvva Innovations, so it's pretty much very nice. Thank you.
Coffee is something we all love, but very few of us stop to think about what happens after the coffee is brewed. And that's exactly where today's story begins. We are delighted to have with us Sanghamitra Seal, the founder of Kaffa Kuwvva Innovations, a startup that is transforming spent coffee grounds into valuable coffee oil, creating impact at the intersection of sustainability, innovation, and circular economy. Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you with us, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Ishika. Just to begin, our company's name is Kaffa Kuwvva. That's the right pronunciation for the word that we have coined for the name of the company. I'll just start with Kaffa Kuwvva because it makes all the story so much relevant, which you just said about not very many people think about coffee, the aftermath of coffee. So, Kaffa is actually the Ethiopian word of coffee. And why Ethiopian? Because Ethiopia is where coffee was first discovered. And why Kuwa? Because the rest of the world got coffee through an Arabic trader from Ethiopia who brought the coffee beans to the rest of the world. And in Arabic, coffee is called Kuwa. As we know, in many languages, there are double meanings to certain words. Incidentally, Kuwa also has a double meaning and it means the power of change. So, we are trying to bring in the change in the coffee industry by converting the brewed spent into valuable products for society. And that's how we have gotten our nomenclature of Kaffa Kuwvva Innovations. We innovate from the waste of the coffee.
That's fascinating, ma'am. And the idea itself is so unique. But
Thank you for that. But yeah,
like
there's a lot of potential in the grounds of the coffee. So we thought it is best that we give them the second, the third, and however many lives it deserves to utilize its full potential. Because when we start our day with coffee, we get the additional boost for our day to be moving in a particular direction that we want us to go. So imagine we if we are giving that power of coffee to the rest of our day in some form or the other, skin or hair, which are the largest organs and fascinating parts of human body, if we can deliver some value to those additional areas, I think it's a brilliant thing when we put an extra effort to utilize it, because it not only serves humanity, like as in building beauty and personal care products, but it is also healing our climate, because the waste of coffee is filling the landfills and it is creating a lot of waste. And every day, like at this point in time, we consume about 2.4 billion cups of coffee globally, and that emits about 96 crore kgs of carbon dioxide and methane on a day to day regular basis. If we can cut that down, then I think we've achieved our purpose to some bit.
so, ma'am, what motivated you to focus specifically on repurposing spent coffee into coffee oil?
See, like in every research, you don't know what is going to be your final product.
Hmm.
And what motivated me is I'm a coffee lover, and then, of course, everybody loves nature. So when I found that one element is actually spoiling the other element, it quite didn't settle down. So I started reading about the spent coffee grounds, and then I figured in my research that the spent of the coffee, as in the grounds that remain after brewing the cup of coffee, the potency of that particular product increases compared to green coffee beans or roasted coffee beans. And a lot of topical benefits are achieved from the ingredients that are there in the coffee oil. So I didn't know when I started my reading that coffee oil can or may be extracted. So I just started reading about the potency and the potential that these spent coffee grounds had. And one thing led to the other. I researched on the papers, I developed the process. We, in fact, innovated the process of extraction of the crude and then purifying it to pure coffee oil in a mechanical and a chemical free developed process. And that retained the benefit. So to be fair to your question, we didn't plan that we will get a coffee oil out of the spent. I was trying to utilize the waste such that the carbon dioxide and the greenhouse gases that emit, or the coffee carbon footprint that gets created from all our consumption, gets saved.
Sustainability seems to be at the heart of your work. So,
Yes, that is a word for sure, but I was mostly working for climate conservation. So you can tell us that obviously the climate is heating up. We don't know how to go back to the pre-industrial numbers of heat
that's true, ma'am.
degree. I
Hmm.
started working backwards. So coffee oil came in and stranded me because that particular industry. See, I'm too small. When you put things into perspective, the world is too big a place for a person to change alone. But why not start at small places? So coffee is one industry we can help, because obviously coffee is a growing culture in the country, and
Hmm.
the climate is harming the coffee industry itself. Since you are from agriculture, it will probably be exciting to you to know that the more the temperatures rise, the more the coffee growing highlands are reducing. And that is what is not landing us well, because if India produces less coffee, it will become a low supplier to the rest of the world, risking the lives of the livelihoods of the farmers who actually farm coffee. So, yes,
Yeah,
we are making the beauty and personal care products from the coffee oil, but we are also working towards saving the coffee industry, the farmers, the land, everything put together. So, that's the whole story of Kaffa Kuwvva.
that's amazing, ma'am. So, from your experience, what are some key challenges you observed in traditional waste management practices within the coffee industry?
So I would say that the first and the foremost pointer that every idea begins with is management and segregation of the waste. Because waste is only usable when it is properly saved to make it usable. Because if you mix the coffee brewed with water, or say with other waste, then it completely turns unusable. That was one challenge, because we had to train all the cafes that we work with that this waste has to be, the brewed grounds that you throw away from the strainer has to be packed separately. So that was one. The second is, of course, because we are working with an agri waste, the perishable nature of the waste is something we face problems with every day. It has to be collected and bottled and extracted and bottled within 85 hours. So that is a challenge, where we were continuously optimizing the process to do the bin to bottling period within that 85 hours to keep the product in its 99.99% purity and safety for human usage. So those were the two challenges we faced while handling the brewed coffee ground.
At Manage CIA, we always emphasize ecosystem support. In what ways did the support from institution, especially Manage CIA, I'll ask, so that impact your early growth and strategic direction?
It was definitely one of our key milestones, like when you are dealing with such a small idea, because when you are just researching, finding partners to help you complete the research or even believe in your idea is something which is the biggest hurdle any startup faces. So when we started applying, so Managed CIA has been one of the key partners who adopted us, I would say. They believed in our idea, and of course, before that, almost parallelly, we got selected with IIT Kanpur, IIT Kharagpur. Those gave us mental boosts, and they are institutions where Managed CIA was doing something, disbursing something from the government of India themselves. So it was a key milestone, because the government also recognizing and an institute recognizing, corporate recognizing, is something different than the government or the democratic institution that you belong to as a country is also believing in your idea. So the potential actually increases, because you have the ability and the strength and the confidence to scale it up when time comes. But the first step is, of course, to somebody believe in you that it is possible. And that is what I think I got it when Manage accepted our application, and then, of course, processed us, selected us, and then gave us the first bit of the fund as well. So thank you to Manage, a lot of it.
Now let's get into the behind the scenes magic. How did you build partnership with cafes and what has been the community response so far?
Community response, like I would say that one of the biggest brands which has supported in our research for the last 2 3 years when we initiated our research was Tata Starbucks. So I reached out to a lot many of them, and Starbucks was very kind and gracious to give us their waste for the entire city. Like in Calcutta, we operate with 10 units, and we collect the entire waste from there. So I basically reached out to all partners like Starbucks, we reached out to Costa Coffee, and then we have about 25, 30 local cafes who we visited and said the plan, and then they started giving us their waste. So that was one. Community is being helped by the employment we have been able to generate. We have about 15 people operating with us. Some are full time, some are part time. So the community is getting benefited. Now that we are trying to get into market, we are also collaborating with women solopreneurs who work in the beauty and personal care segment. They provide beauty services, they use our product, they take it to market, and the empowerment that they get from the additional income that gets generated beyond the service is something that we feel that it is creating a lot of impact in women who are single, or they are from a background where additional income makes a lot of additional help to running their household. So I think that is a great thing we feel the community has been impacted with. We also have brought in some waste pickers into the forum of employment. So we have three people who pick up our brewed coffee grounds from these 36 cafes that we operate with on daily basis. So they are into full time employment with us. Full time in the sense like they get work daily with us. So they work 365 days with us with a proper holiday schedule, and they are into the scale of employment over here. So I think that is how the community is being reached out to, and the response has been brilliant with the product's efficacy. We run exhibitions in the city, we participate in coffee cultures, etc. So we try to engage people with the education that it is doing good to the society as well as to the environment around us.
That's so inspiring, ma'am. So once collected, how do you sort and ensure the grounds are contaminant free?
So we do it at the source, Ishika. So what we do is we have planted separate bins with proper ventilation set in them, where the cafes drop their spent coffee only in those baskets. So that's the first step of cutting out the contamination from other sources of waste. Then what happens is every day at a certain time, like just to begin, some cafes have given us the time at 11 o'clock to pick up their collection. Some cafes we pick up at night before they close in. So that's how we ensure that it is not mixed and jumbled up with any other waste. Secondly, when it comes into our facility, we sort out which are the best possible and the freshest possible grounds, and we refrigerate it for our extraction process to begin the following morning. And when it begins, of course, we follow a process of quality check and then running it with the right amount of temperature, pressure for the oil to be released in the first place. So, all of those things actually contain the contamination because we process it within that 85-hour zone from bin to bottling. And that is what is the key challenge we described earlier when we started developing this particular unit.
So any quality control measures do you follow to guarantee the purity of your coffee oil?
So of course, that's the whole process. So, what we do is we run the process in a chemical free and mechanical cold press method. And then, when we do the final bottling, we do stabilization with ultra high purity nitrogen for it to remain contamination free. Even after that, we run the facade tests, which enable and give us the certification that the quality is usable. So we run multiple tests like shelf life test, the patch test, the dermatologically approved test, etc., on all of our products to maintain that sanity on the quality of each bottle.
Looking ahead, how do you see your business model evolving as the demand for circular economy solutions grow globally?
Our organizational milestones have been set pretty clearly for us. So, this year is our pilot year where we will commercialize and start selling. And this is such a scalable model, like it's a very simple scalable model where we can collect the waste from each part of the country, south, north, as well as we are already in the east. So, our next plan is for Bangalore because that's the hub in the south. We also can initiate production in any part of the city because the developed machine is built by us in the sense like in our design. And then we have tie-ups with brands like Costa and Starbucks. So it's a very scalable model of with our partners and with our process in place.
So you believe that these collaborative projects they help you refine your process or product.
Absolutely, because see, when we started, we got incubation and mentorship support from IIT Kanpur, and certain oil technologists and mentors who came us helped us improve the quality, the process, and how we can get to moving, developing other products as well. So all of these things, all of these incubations, including manage, have helped us move forward with optimizing the process or say purchasing of machinery wherever help was needed. We have received it in the necessary time.
I'm excited about like I want to ask like what are the applications regarding this coffee oil?
Okay, so coffee oil actually is very rich in vitamin E, which is the most beneficial component for your skin and hair. So the applications are strengthening your hair follicles, darkening the hair color. It has anti-aging properties. It's very intense and condensed with the fatty acid profile, chlorogenic acids and antioxidants. So basically to heal your skin, your scalp and your hair, all of these benefits are topical to human skin, and coffee oil has these properties. So we have taken the pure coffee oil, which you can do DIY with it. And then we have also built some 8 SKUs out of it. Like we have a body scrub that we have built, like all purpose body scrub, which we have built with the coffee oil as well as with the coffee grounds. And it helps you refresh your skin, heal it. And then we have other additions like soaps and roll ons, which are very directed kind of usage. Like if you have a cracked heel or if you have a roughened elbow, or say, suppose you have some under eye puffiness, or say some itchy scalp, all of these things will be taken care of with the additional ingredients that we have built the products with.
So how do you envision Kaffa Kuwvva scaling its operations and impact over the next 3 to 5 years, let's say?
What we have planned is 26 is for doing it here, increasing the processing number to double. Like currently, we collect about 45 to 50 kgs of waste every day. If Calcutta permits, then we will increase this production to 100 kgs of waste per day. Next year is our plan to take this particular unit and set up operations in Bangalore with a 10x scale, which is 500 kgs per day processing. And thereafter, in the next year, we also plan to retail it to India as well as to the GCC market, like expansion to the GCC market only for retail, not for production. And thereafter, we have plans, of course, for other metros. So I'll not go so far since it is 2 to 3 years. I think we will just stick to retailing in India and the GCC, and also another unit in the southern part of the country, along with the Calcutta unit to double its production.
That's really great to hear, ma'am. So, based on your journey so far, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs, especially to a woman? Because basically, as we know, there are very few female startups. So, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who want to build more focused startups related to environmental, sustainable?
I wouldn't call out sustainability startups particularly for women. Anybody can really work if you honestly have an idea. If you're asking me on selecting an idea, I would say pick up a problem that needs solution. So we picked up a problem, very small problem. We picked up the research with going backwards from healing the climate around us. And then we figured that the industry can also be healed, like one industry. And when we started with healing the coffee industry, we figured out that the BPC, like the beauty and personal care industry, is also loaded with products which are completely filled with chemicals. So we touched upon the problem of environment, which is a huge problem, and it is practically impossible for any single organization to solve it. Then we moved down to one industry, which is coffee, because we can save the farmers, we can save the coffee growing regions, we can better the output of India such that we can increase our GDP and then also export coffee, etc. Then we moved out. When we started building and researching the products, we realized that we can also touch another industry. So we have been slow, I would be very honest, and I would be also very sad to call that out, that We have been researching for the last 2 to 3 years, but like you know, all startups face problems and challenges with cash flow. We also have been facing it because, of course, we have been bootstrapped with support from grants like these. So, when you call out an idea, try to solve a problem, is what I would say to anybody who's trying to create a startup in sustainability or in any place else, any idea elsewhere. So, if you start solving a problem, then you know that your solution is credible. So when the solution is credible, it will stick and it will not break away. But if your solution is not credible, then it will not stand. And the second thing that I would advise people, if at all they have to really make something of the organization, they have to be really holding their grit a lot. Times are more tougher than beautiful, times are more harsh, brilliant. But if you are giving up, then don't come into it. If you have the grit to stick along for at least 5 to 7 years with a lot of hardship, like giving up life, giving up family time, giving up practically everything, working 16, 17, 18 hours, whatever deserves and demands the organization. If you're up for it, only then come in. Otherwise, it's like you're doing injustice to the organization as well as to yourself, whoever is starting.
Okay, ma'am. So, would you like to say something?
So what we can say is, like, because we started with the purpose of the whole project was environmental conservation, and also, of course, the community around us and everything. So Kaffa Kuwvva actually aligns with United Nations sustainable goals, and we cater to about four odd goals, which is like SDG 8, where we provide work and economic growth. We comply with, say, SDG 9, where we have done innovation and industry level innovation, infrastructure, everything. We also are following the SDG 12 because we recycle the consumption of production. And of course, the SDG 13 was our first climate action. So we do take all of this, and we have been able to reduce about 2000 plus carbon credits by processing about 1.5 lakh kgs of solid waste, which is spent coffee grounds. And then we have created products which are good for you, good for the community, as well as good for the environment. So I think good for you because, of course, it's natural, chemical free, and all of that. Good for the community. We are generating employment. We are promoting the Make in India ethos. We are manufacturing small scale. But at the end of it all, it comes and closes the circle of circular economy because we are giving it back to the climate. So if we are building products that are solving the climate problem, the community problem, as well as the self problem of chemical free products, I think it should be promoted and taken to the next level. So next level is, of course, we making some revenue for the company. We are growing as per the plan. We are extending it to multiple cities and people are adopting the product. So I would request everybody to try out the benefits of coffee oil and its products, because coffee has a lot of benefits which are beyond your cup. So we say that it is coffee beyond the cup. And if people adopt us, I think we will be good in helping more people.
Coffee beyond the cup. Definitely, I'm going to write this.
So,
So,
coffee beyond the cup has always been our motto because everybody likes to drink coffee, but half of us do not know that coffee's benefits extends beyond the cup as well. So, we would like people who love coffee and who also love tea. Like, if you love coffee, you will anyways try coffee beyond the cup. But if you are a tea person and you don't want to drink coffee, you can at least apply on yourself to get the benefits of coffee elsewhere
that's true.
beyond the cup, isn't it? So we tell them that
Yes.
if you're a coffee lover, try us. If you're a tea lover, you also have opportunity to use us because it's chemical free and it has the potency. You don't have to drink it. So just it's beyond the cup.
Anyhow, we're using coffee.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
So thank you so much for sharing your journey, ma'am. It's truly inspiring to see how waste can become opportunity when innovation meets purpose. What you are doing is a great example of how incubation support can accelerate real world impact. So we wish Kaffa Kuwvva Innovation continued success.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much,
you so
ma'am.
very much, Ishika. Thank you for actually taking the time out and setting this podcast. And of course, talking about us makes sense because the generation you are in, you are the one who is building the nation now. If you understand the benefits of chemical free, if you understand the benefits of healing the climate, it is you who will be taking it forward. So I think it is exceptional that you have actually taken out time to talk about us, and then we would request you to spread it amongst your community.
Thank you, ma'am. To everyone listening this was the Manage CIO podcast. I'm Ashika Gautam, and I'll be back soon with another inspiring story. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building the future of Indian agripreneurship.